fall, that will certainly give Boxer another way to get into Nada's base. Nada, I believe, only has turrets at the back of his base, but the turrets for Nada are going to stop Boxer from really sending in dropships like Nada has been doing to Boxer. And now the refinery does go down. Boxer is again down to... has lost his gas at his main again, and it's such a terrible position for him, and it's going to be hard for Boxer to even get up this ramp. There are a lot of tanks in the area. Boxer's sending a couple of dropships up there, or a dropship going to have a couple of tanks there, trying to take the upper ground, trying to take the high ground, trying to take the ridge. Looks like he's been moderately successful. Going to be able to clear out some of these turrets, but as soon as Nada has another dropship coming in here, he's got some tanks inside of his own base, and he's just going to be able to clear this out. Yeah, he's already cleared it out, and Boxer's attack being more or less ineffective, doing slight damage, but not really enough to really hurt Nada. This is not really painful for Nada. Boxer bringing in a couple more tanks, but I don't think this is going to be effective again. And yeah, those tanks took a couple of volleys from the tanks within Nada's base and haven't really been able to do much at all. Boxer, I don't think that this is really a position that is going to be all that successful for him. He can try and crawl across, but it's unlikely that he's going to really be able to do too much damage for Nada. Nada has more dropships in the has more dropships coming and should be able to just drop and take out the few tanks that are in that position. Nada actually taking another base at the other empty expansion, or empty base, the 10 o'clock main, going to be able to take that expansion. And now Nada going in towards the third base of Boxer, going to try and take out this base, dropping down some siege tanks and some Goliaths as well, and losing one dropship in the process. The turret does go down, but now Boxer's not going to be mining from this expansion, not going to be getting any gas. So right now Boxer's again down to one gas, and Nada's just been doing so much damage to Boxer's economy, especially his gas economy, that it's so bad for Boxer. But he has to be falling behind in terms of his gas intake significantly. Has to be falling behind in terms of his overall tech count. Cannot be keeping pace. No upgrades for Boxer right now. I haven't seen Nada's. Haven't been checking Nada's upgrades all that specifically. 3 dropships still out for Nada, and Nada actually has no upgrades either. Neither player deciding to focus the 100 minerals and gas it really takes to do the upgrade. Rather, they are staying and producing another siege tank with it, because that really is the cost. That 100 gas is really the cost for another siege tank. It looks like Nada is loading up those 3 dropships, and looks like he's actually going to go try and attack Boxer again. But Boxer with 2 raids able to intercept. Actually might be able to... Actually, no! Valkyries! Valkyries! The Valkyries unable to kill any dropships before the dropships were able to drop all the Goliaths and tanks and take down both Valkyries. And now we could see Boxer in a whole world of trouble as more reinforcing units are being sent to this position. And now Nada going to drop right into the main. Boxer completely unprepared for this, having no tanks within his main, having no backup defenses here. And this is going to be ugly for Boxer. All those SCVs dying before they can even get to the tanks. One tank now sieging up. That tank is certainly going to die. And more forces being moved in by Nada, I think, with those dropships. Yeah, a couple more siege tanks, some more Goliaths, and this looks like it's GG for Boxer. I think we're going to see Boxer fall in this game. And as he loses his main, and it's very hard to come back from losing your main. Boxer sending out some vultures to the 9 o'clock position, going to try and do some economic harassment there. Not sure how effective he's going to be. Also at the 10 o'clock main, going to try and do some economic harassment there. But one of his vultures goes down at the 9 o'clock, and it looks like the other one is cornered in, so that was probably going to die as well. So we might be able to do some harassment, but he's losing his entire main, losing supply depot, still not mining off of that gas. He might even lose that command center, and this is just ugly for the Emperor. And we could be seeing him being dethroned by Nada. Nada going to take the victory, and if he does take this victory, the series lead will be tied up 10-10 overall between these two players, and I really want to see another game. Tragically, this is only a best of 3. It's not a best of 5, so this will be the last game that we see between these two players for now, at least in this Heritage League tournament. Boxer trying to push out into the middle of the map, going to try and clear out Nada's forces here. I think he's going to be successful in this endeavor. He's going to be able to clear out most of Nada's forces here. But it's a question of whether or not he's really going to be able to do much damage, and I just don't see how he's going to be able to do enough crippling damage, as Nada's now expanding to the 12 o'clock base as well. That is a natural expansion of the 10 o'clock main, and yeah, this is just really bad. Nada's going to just be able to overexpand, and just going to, or not overexpand, just going to be able to out-expand Boxer and just economically destroy him. And Nada still has not been cleared out of Boxer's base. Nada's still there. If he wanted to, he could probably crawl those tanks forward some more and take out some more supply depots, the academy, maybe even get into the factories and really disrupt the supply route for Boxer. And Boxer doesn't look like he even is worried about it, not even bothering to really try and clear it out and send many resources that way. Though it also looks like Boxer is working on taking the base at the 1 o'clock position across that bridge area. If that is a command center, that could help him, but he's just falling so far behind. 4 dropships now for Nada. That is a lot of forces. 4 dropships is a very, very significant force for Nada. A very, very mobile, very significant force. And Nada looks like he's just going to try and take the middle of the map. He looks like he's building a long wall of lines that's going to be very difficult for Boxer to break without some more dropships, without a whole lot more gas, and that command center is burning, tragically enough, and he can't even do an SCV transfer over to that area because there's just so many tanks. Boxer looked like he was going to try and clear a pathway out that way, and you can see it on Boxer's face. Boxer not looking really happy with the way this game is going, and looking very, very nervous. I'm sure he really wanted to win, really wanted to kind of come back in his stature in the StarCraft pro gaming scene, as he hasn't been able to play much for SKT1. But this really was a place for him to try and shine, and he did look very, very good in the group stages, and even in this series against Nada, he hasn't looked terrible. But Nada is just that good. Nada's been around, and Nada's TVT is certainly top notch right now, and looks like it's going to be good enough to take out Boxer. Boxer staying in for a really long time, and I think he could GG right now. He could probably clear out his forces in his main, but I don't think he realizes just how far behind he is economically, and the fact that Nada is now on 5 gas expansions or 5 gas, and Boxer is really only on 2. And the fact that Nada's, I'm sure, is just stockpiling resources at this point. And yeah, there's finally the GG from Boxer. Boxer leaves. Nada gets the victory. We're going to see We Made Fox. Nada going to try and take the win in this Heritage League. When this first started out, I did predict Nada winning over Savior in the final, and it looks like my prediction might come true. Of course, I would have preferred to see Boxer and Yellow duke it out in the final, as both of those players were able to get out of the group stages, but it's not to be. Boxer falling here. We're going to see Savior and Yellow coming up next. But Nada looking top notch, and here in the Heritage League, everyone shakes hands here in the Heritage League. Boxer kicked it off his very first game, and he and Nada, 2 of the greatest Terran players ever, 2 brilliant strategists, 2 great accomplished players. I think Nada is probably the most accomplished player in StarCraft ever in terms of just sheer number of medals and golds and silvers and just things that you can put on your mantle, and but Boxer is Boxer. Boxer is the one who made everything we do possible and makes it so that we can even see StarCraft really on a professional scene, and that's what Boxer's really claim to fame is. But he looked very, very good here, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get to see him play in the Pro League playoffs as SKT1 is the #1 seed, and once it gets to the final round, maybe, just maybe, we'll get to see him. And that would be a joy to see. I'm not confident about that, but I'm hopeful that we'll get to see Boxer again. And every time you get to see Boxer play, it is quite a joy. But yeah, this is going to be it. Nada taking the series 2-1, and we're going to see him advance to the finals to play the winner of Savior versus Yellow, which will be coming at you next.